Welcome to 100 Yards of Football today. We got a very special interview with one of the fastest receivers that played in the National Football League. He was a great Atlanta Falcon, and he joins me today, Mr. Michael Haynes. If you liked the video today, please comment and share it. As I said before, when I had the great Jesse Tugger on last week, I'm like a kid in a cookie jar because I got one of the fastest men that ever played in the National Football League. So if you liked the video, please comment and share it. We are 100 Yards Football. How you doing today, sir?
I am awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to have you here today to talk about your time with the Atlanta Falcons. But you come from a great city that's known for food and a lot of other things, such as jazz and having a lot of fun. The city of New Orleans, great football players that came out of there. Neil Smith, Cordell Stewart, Aeneas Williams, Ashley Ambrose. So as I ask all guys from their hometown, what is it down there in New Orleans? Because a lot of people on the national scene don't think people can play football down in New Orleans. But, man, when you look at the roster, it's very impressive.
Well, I think it's all over the South, though. I mean, the South just has some really talented football players. I mean, you can go to all the states in the South, and there's some really, really good football players who've made serious impacts on the National Football League. So I think it's just the South.
Yes, sir. Now, you had a unique kind of situation because you didn't play high school football at Clark High School in New Orleans, but they put out some pretty good people out there. Manny Fresh, one of the best jazz musicians to come out of the city, and Keith Frazier. But you went to Eastern Arizona, first junior college, then Northern Arizona. That's when you consumed your football career.
Yeah, I wanted to go to college. Couldn't afford to, so I found a way of getting there. In football, I used the tool to get there. I walked on at Eastern Arizona Junior College. Got there and ran a 40 for them and convinced them that they could make me a football player.
What was that time?
4.27.
Wow. Can you say that one more time? The man ran a 4.27.
4.27. Well, I didn't realize I was fast because, I mean, growing up in the neighborhood, I knew I could run faster than most of the guys I was with. But,
yes, sir.
So I got up there, ran a 40 for them, and they were convinced that they'd make me a football player. So they gave me a partial scholarship. And from then, I just kept getting better at the game. And I'm going to Northern Arizona University. Got recruited from there, from Eastern Arizona as a running back. Got to Northern Arizona University and found out that when you move up a level, so does everybody else. The talent was better.
Absolutely.
Couldn't block some of those linebackers, didn't want to get hit by them, so I moved out to receiver. And because I was fast, teams started to come and look at me, and I got drafted by the Falcons and 10-year career. So.
Then you walked into a situation where they ran the run and shoot.
Absolutely. I started off with Marion Campbell, so I played my first 2 years under him, and then we brought in Jerry Glanville, who brought June Jones with him, and that's when the run and shoot came. And I think that kind of exploded for my career because I was the guy who stretched the field, and when you got speed.
Understandable. Now, that's one thing that some of your fans from my hometown, Memphis, Tennessee, one of my sisters wanted to, for me to personally today, how you doing, Stephanie, from the 901?
Hey, Steph.
She wanted to ask me, explain how special that 91 season was.
Well, 91 was my best season, for one. I think our team, we won 11 games that year. We were the too legit to quit.
That's what she was talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
And then she told me to mention something else. I'm going to let you finish.
So 91 was a special year for us. I mean, like I said, we won 11 games. We played Dallas the last game of the season for the rights to have a home playoff game, and we ended up losing that game, which means we had to go down on the road to New Orleans to
Your
play.
hometown?
My hometown. And I had loved playing against my hometown team. I always had big games against that team, and so wasn't anything different that home playoff game. So we got down there and scored a couple of touchdowns on them, ended up scoring the winning touchdown, which advanced us to play against the Redskins.
Yes, sir.
And we lost to them. They eventually went on to win the Super Bowl.
Now, my sister told me to bring up some of your stats for that game. 6 receptions, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. But she said what she most enjoyed is how you lit up Gene Atkins, the safety who used to run his mouth back in the day. How you really put that secondary on fire. And that's what she wanted me to bring it up to you today, how you lit up Gene Atkins.
It's funny because when you play a team twice a year, you become friends with the guys on that team. So we were friends with most of the guys on that team. So I love playing against those guys. And, you got to beat them for bragging rights, for one, because, New Orleans being my hometown, I spent a lot of time down there. And I didn't want to hear the noise of them having to win those games, and I have to hear it all the time. So
And after the 91 season, your career was very steady, and you kind of retired a little early, though, in 97. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
I
you still
did,
have some play in you.
It was after my 10th year, and football became my job. And when it became my job, I just wasn't interested in doing it anymore. Now, I did retire with the thought that if I missed it, I was going to come back and play because I was still able to. And
Yes,
I
sir.
still had teams calling, but it was the year my wife and I had our first kid, and my focus just changed. And so I became family man and, put the football thing on the back burner.
And what I'm really impressed about you is that outside you retiring from the game, you've done a lot of work with Emory Healthcare. You've done some things for them, spokesman, and
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit.
I mainly work with a lot of youth. I run the local touchdown club in North Fulton. It's the North Georgia Touchdown Club. And what we do is we recognize players for doing what they're supposed to do on the field. And Emory's was one of our big sponsors. So when it was time for them to find somebody to be their spokesman, it was the easy choice because I had been working with them for years. So we shot a bunch of commercials. We did a bunch of print ads and stuff like that. And that aired during the 17 and 18 seasons, and I mean, it was a fun thing. I mean, I'm 20 years out of the game and still doing commercials, so I mean,
Yes, sir.
It was really cool.
So I'd like to say thank you for being with me today. Before you leave, I think we, the panel here at 100 Yards Football, came up with a list yesterday of the 5 fastest wide receivers that was productive in the National Football League, and you made our list. So you're in the company.
Awesome.
You're in the company of Bob Hayes, the Bullet Bob Hayes, Florida A&M, Rod Brown, who played at Arizona State by way of the L.A. Rams, James Jett, who played, I guess, for the L.A. Raiders and the Oakland Raiders, a guy who I seen in college, Johnny Lamb Jones out of the University of Texas, that with the New York Jets, and you made the list.
Well, I appreciate that.
So do
That's
Mr.
awesome.
Haynes deserve to be the list audience?
Yes, sir.
Can I get an amen? I'd like to say thank you.
Well, I appreciate
God bless.
it, man. Thank you.
Final word. You want to say anything at the end of
No,
the
I
day?
appreciate you having me, man. I mean, like I said, I'm retired 22 years now, and we still talking about football, so that's really cool.
Thank you. If you liked the video today, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner. Join me as a very talented young man who was one of the fastest receivers in the National Football League, Mr. Michael Haynes of the Atlanta Falcons by way of Northern Arizona. God bless and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, sister, from the 901, my sister Stephanie Turner. Have a blessed day.